Let's start with just a high-level question. So what is, for the good people at home, what is Redwood Cash Buyer?
So Redwood Cash Buyer is a partnership between Zavvie and you guys, Century 21 Redwood Realty agents. And it enables you guys to give your clients the power of a non-contingent cash offer to win their dream home. And we all know cash is king. So this could be giving them that leg up in a multiple offer situation, or giving them the potential to save off list price in those non-competing scenarios.
Can you describe the type of clients that Redwood Cash Buyer is designed for?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to tell you, some real life scenarios that we're seeing right now. There's buyers out there facing multiple offer situations. We actually see that around 60% of the offers we're writing right now are in a multiple offer situation, and a lot of times multiple cash offer situation. It's real. The spring market is upon us. That low inventory definitely creates this situation. So that's the most common scenario we're seeing right now. We also have the modern bridge component that allows buyers to buy before they sell. So there's a lot of folks that don't know these programs exist, and they're sitting in their current home. They know they have the stress of making the stars align and selling their current home before they can buy their new home. This gives that buyer that leg up with a strong cash offer on the buy side, and then they can move into their new home before they list and sell their former home. So a lot of clients don't know this exists, and they're like, gosh, I'm going to have to find short-term living. I might have to move twice. I'm going to have to put all of my stuff in storage. So that's also a very, very common use case, is that convenience and easy button of the modern bridge buy before you sell solution.
Question I often get asked is, what is the difference between what's called cash buyer and modern bridge?
Yeah, absolutely. The main difference is that cash buyer is for those clients that are buying only, meaning they do not have to sell a former home to secure their permanent mortgage financing. So this might be your client that is first time buyer renting. Maybe someone wants to use it as an investment property and they can qualify for that mortgage without having to sell a former residence. So that is cash buyer. And the cash buyer program is 1%. The cost of it is 1% of the new home purchase price. Modern bridge is that client has a former home to sell before they can secure their permanent mortgage financing. So that client is both buying and selling, and the cost of that program is 1.9% of the purchase price, right? Because there's that risk of selling that former residence before they can secure their financing and buy back the home. So most importantly, the common denominator here is on the buy side, that buyer is always a cash buyer. So Redwood Cash Buyer, they are empowered with cash to buy on the buy side.
I would like you to walk our agents through the process that their clients will follow from first contact with Redwood Cash Buyer to doing an actual closing with Redwood Cash Buyer, start to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. So to start the process for cash buyer or modern bridge, if you have a client that is both buying and selling or buying only, it's really easy for you guys. All you have to do is put that client in contact with your Atlantic Coast Mortgage LO and start the process of getting that client pre-approved and through conditional underwriting. That's the easy button. And guess what? Then your Atlantic Coast Mortgage LO sends Redwood Cash Buyer team all of that information. That is the easiest process, is you just call Atlantic Coast Mortgage, introduce the client, get them through conditional underwriting. They send the underwriting to our team, Redwood Cash Buyer. We check to make sure it meets our basic requirements, understand what they're approved up to, and we pre-fund the client to write cash if and when they need it. Would like to highlight, there's no obligation to use this program if they get pre-funded. So that's the most important thing. So I strongly encourage you get everyone pre-funded to write with Redwood Cash Buyer, write that winning cash offer, because you don't know you need it until you need it.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have that in the back pocket.
Definitely.
So that's how you get the client pre-funded to write cash.
Okay.
Now let's break
jump in
off.
real quick. Conditional underwriting. Essentially what we're talking about is Atlantic Coast Mortgage has verified their income, their assets, essentially everything in the file, with the exception being the property specific things. So they don't know where they're going to be living. So you can't order the appraisal or make sure that the general property is eligible for a mortgage.
Exactly. That is conditional underwriting. Now let's break it off into cash buyer only. So we go in, the client has found that dream home. Redwood Cash Buyer gets the notification. And with Redwood Cash Buyer only, client is going to write the offer in their name. Redwood Cash Buyer is going to write a backup offer that says if for any reason the client cannot close with financing on closing day, Redwood Cash Buyer will buy the home all cash on closing day. Sellers love this. It's a guaranteed close. Agents, you'll love it. It's a guaranteed commission. So offers accepted because sellers love it. At that point is when, with Cash Buyer, a 1% deposit is due. So it's due 48 hours upon going under contract on their dream home. So at that point, the deposit's due. Standard transaction process happens. The client, goes through the process of securing their mortgage financing, inspections, due diligence. On closing day, the deposit is returned. Client moves into their home. Everyone is happy. That's the cash buyer route.
Okay.
Any questions on that one? Clarification?
No, that's perfectly understood. Yeah.
Modern Bridge. Remember, in Modern Bridge, Redwood Cash Buyer is actually buying the home, reserving it for the client until they can sell their former home and buy it back. So let's walk through that Modern Bridge process. They write the winning cash offer. That cash offer is in Redwood Cash Buyer's name because we're buying the home. That offer wins. They're under contract. Same time, we're drawing up what we call the buyback offer. The buyback is the client is going to buy the home back from Redwood Cash Buyer. Just like in Cash Buyer, the deposit for the program is 2.5% of the new home purchase price. If the home is over $1 million, that deposit bumps up to 4%. That's due within 48 hours of going under contract on their new home. They get to move in on closing day. So standard process happens. They move in on closing day. That's the perk, right? They get to move out of their old home into their new home, worry about staging, selling, getting the old home ready for the open market. They sell their old home. Then they buy back their new home from Redwood Cash Buyer. And once that transaction is closed, everything is trued up. The deposit is returned, less the program fee and any deferred occupancy costs. So I know I touched on that earlier. Deferred occupancy costs starts on the day we buy the home on behalf of the client until they buy it back. So if they buy it back in 21 days, they only pay 21 days of deferred occupancy costs. But all of that is trued up when they buy the home back from Redwood Cash Buyer.
That's a great explanation. So how do agents get started?
You call your Atlantic Coast Mortgage LO today with everyone that is in your, I'm just shopping, I might be looking. We hear a lot of that, guys. We hear a lot of, oh, my clients are kind of shopping, but not really serious about it yet. That's everyone's client until that dream home hits the market, right?
Yep. So
they're not shopping until they find their dream home.
So first off is Atlantic Coast Mortgage. They don't have to register with Redwood Cash Buyer before.
Atlantic Coast Mortgage can do that for you. You can easy button is let them send that information over to us.
All right, awesome. That's perfect. Thank you so much, Liz. I know that our agents learned so much. I learned so much today, and it's always great talking with you. Thanks.
Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate you having me today.